Hi everyone. Today we're going to make a beautiful ball gown for a child. So the measurement now, I'm going to use this measurement for it. So as we go on, I will also be calling the measurement. So for the shoulder measurement is 14, which is like this. You're going to divide it into two, which will give you 7. And then you measure the 7 on the cardboard paper, and then for the armhole it is also 7. How to get your armhole is your shoulder divided by 2. So on this place I'm also going to mark 7 inches, and I'll rule it down like this, and I will also mark my 7 inches here just to make my line accurate like this. So, and the next thing is the half length. The half length is 15 inches. So the half length is 15 inches. We are going to mark the 15 inches plus 1 inch for the sewing allowance. And I also move here and mark 15 inches plus 1 inch for sewing allowance. Why I moved here is to get accurate straight line, and I will mark the line, and I will also mark the line. Then the next thing we need to do here is the bust point. The bust point is 6 inches. Bust length, sorry, is 8 inches. So 8 inches plus half inch for sewing allowance here, and then I'm going to come here and also mark the bust point, and I will use my ruler to rule it down. And we are going to take the round measurement of the bust, which is 27 inches, like this, 27 inches, and we're going to divide it into two like this. So we are getting 13 inches, and we divide it into two again, making it 4. So we are getting 6 and 3/4. So you are dividing your bust round into 4, and this is what we get. You are dividing with tape, don't divide with any other thing. So this is the mark. And for the waist round, we have 25 inches. So 25 divided by 4, we divide by 2 first, and also divide by 2 again, and I'll mark it here. Remember, this is my waist length. I added this 1 inch for sewing it down and also sewing it on the shoulder. So we are going to mark the line like this. Then after that, this gown is going to have that. So there is something that we call bust point. That is from your bust to your bust. From your bust to your bust, that is bust point. And the bust point of this girl is 6 inches divided by 2 will give you 3 inches, which is this. And 3 inches plus half inch for the sewing, which will give you 3.5. So we mark our bust point here. I hope you understand. And we're going to come up here and also mark our bust point. This will help us to fix our dart on the dress. So here I'll be marking my dart of, let me say, half inch, half inch, half inch, half inch, and I will rule my line. I will also rule my line, and the next I will take it to the upper place I marked the bust That's they call it nipple to nipple or bust span. I made mistake calling it bust span. They call it nipple to nipple or bust span. That's what you will get. Your nipple to nipple. That's what we got 6 inches divided by 2, which gave us 3 plus half, which is 3.5. So now we are going to add our sewing allowance. Remember, we are removing 1 inch here, and we're going to use half inch here to sew it together. So automatically we are removing 2 inches. We are going to add it back 2 inches. Then plus sewing allowance, which is 1.5, because I'm going to use lining for this dress. So sewing allowance will be 1.5. Or okay, yes, sewing allowance will be 1.5. So the next thing we need to do is to add sewing, that is um easing allowance. I added half inch, and this half inch is automatically 2 inches. Because we divided this by 4, this side will have half inch, the other side will have half inch, which is 1. The back will have half inch, and the other side of the back will have half inch, which is 1. And 1 plus 1 is 2 inches. So this is how we are going to add here. To the bust, we are going to add sewing allowance, which is 1.5, and also 2 inches. 2 inches, this which is half automatically. If you have add half, it's automatically 2 inches. So we are going to rule it like this. So the next thing is the neck. I want the neck to be 3 inches by 3 inches for the neck, and I'm going to use my French curve to curve it. You see what I'm doing? Place it very well and curve it down. So the next thing now we need to do is we are going to add 1 inch here for shoulder slope. If you notice, our shoulder is not straight. So with this 1 inch and drawing your line like this will also bring the shoulder down to fit the clothes. Because if you don't add this shoulder slope, when you finish sewing, your clothes will hang on top of your shoulder. So this is the perfect way of doing it. So the remaining part we have 6 here, so we are going to divide it into 2 like this, which will give us 3. We mark it, and from that 3 we are going to come in half inch. If it is for an adult, it could be 3/4. So from there I'm going to place my curved ruler and curve the line this way. So you see our pattern is forming for the dress. So this is the front pattern. You can see how it is. We're going to go on to cut it out. So we're going to use this front pattern and cut the back pattern. Like if you don't want the dart to be on the dress, you can also eliminate the darts. Like me, I don't really want the dart to be on this dress, so I will eliminate it. How are you going to eliminate it? You know, we added 1 inch, and we're going to use 1 inch to sew, which is 2 inches. We're going to remove the 2 inches from here, so I remove it. I don't want that to be on the dress, so I'm going to use this to cut the back pattern of it like this. The only difference is that the back pattern will have zip allowance, and the zip allowance is going to be 1.5 inch, 1.5 inch, 1.5 inch, 1.5 inch. and I'm going to rule the line down like this. So from here, I'll pin this one down. I'll pin it down here on top of the other one. So you come to the neck. You know, we measured the neck of this one 3 inches, but for the back, it's going to be 1 inch, and we are going to mark, or you can also use your ruler to rule it. We'll first of all cut for the back, and I'll now cut the front. Why I'm doing that is, if you cut the front before cutting, you will forget, you might forget and cut the thing like that. So we're going to cut it like this. So we are cutting the back now. Like I told you, it's only the zip allowance that is the difference. And another thing, to remove, if you sometimes you see people after sewing their dresses, you look at the back of the dress, you see that the zip is bulging. So to remove that zipper bulge, we are going to remove 1/2 inch from here. But if you don't want it, you can as well remove, leave it. Do you understand? So when you mark the, sorry, the 1/2 inch is supposed to be from here, because this place is not part of the pattern, so it's supposed to be here. So from here, I'm going to come up 1/2 inch, and I will mark it from here to the chest length. You see, chest length like this, and the 1/2 inch I removed here, I'm going to add this here this way, and you come here, you see, I'm removing like 1/4 inch here, and I'm going to also add my 1/4 inch here. If you don't know how to take the count this thing in cm, I'm going to do a video that will help you to be able to use your ruler and do measurements. So let's continue. I'm adding what I removed here, so that will not make mistake at all. So I'm going to cut it out from the back. Like this thing makes your work perfect. Do you understand? So it's good after, before you make the clothes, you pattern it you pattern it this way before you cut on your client's material, because sometimes you will make mistake and you will not know what to do when you must have spoiled the dress. Then the next thing we need to do after this, at the back of this, the back of the pattern, I'm going to measure 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch, also for the zip bulging, and I'm going to from there rule it down to this place. If you don't want it, you can as well leave it, but it helps to make your zip to stand properly. So this is for the back, and this is for the front. So we're going to use this now and cut the upper part of the dress. So we'll first of all cut the front part of the dress. And I'll place it like this. But before that, I will need to have some inches at the front just to beautify the dress. I wanted to have like 2 inches, but The dress is okay. Let me fold it like this. Let me just leave it. Let me cut it as it is. I'm going to pin it down like this. Then the next, I will cut it out for the front. So this is it. It's supposed to have lining. So when I finish, I will also cut for the lining. So I'm going to fold this one now to cut the back as well, making sure your fabric is well placed. Then I'll place this on top of it, trying to see that you don't waste fabric. And I'll also pin it down like this. And I'll cut it down too. So this is for the front and this is for the back. So we're going to go on to cut the lining. This is what I'm going to use for the lining. So I place the pattern on the lining and I cut it out. This one is for the front. I'm also going to place it again and cut for the back. So this is for the back. And the next thing we are going to do is to cut the down part of the dress. So now, for the down part of the dress, the gown length we have here is 51 and 51 inches, like this, 51 inches. And we have already removed 15 inches for this one. We use 15 inches for the half length. So what is remaining now is from 15 to 51, which will give us approximately 37 inches. So now what we are looking for the down part of the dress is 37 inches. And we are going to measure. So this is it. I also measured from here to 37 inches, and then I I added 1 inch. Let me push it so that you can see. This is my 37 inches. I added 1 inch for sewing allowance down. And I'm going to use a whole 3 yards. 3 yards for it because it's going to be a gathered dress. You see? So this is it. And also have the lining. The lining is also 3 inches. But one thing is that I removed from here, from the down, like 5 inches. So let me see, I remove something like this, like 5 or 6 inches, because it's not supposed to be the same length with the material. So this one is for the down part. We are going on for the sleeve.